Hey, good morning. Well, today's the day. I gotta go shrink wrap my boat. So I kind of missed my warm weather window. It was 70 degrees last Friday, and today it was 25 when I woke up. It's probably right around 30 now, but I made this little dolly kind of thing, a stand to hold my shrink wrap up, and it fits nicely in the bed of the truck, and then I can spool it off the back. But let's go over there and get set up. Alright, so here's roughly where I put it. I put it underneath the bow, and then I'll take the end of it and you know, just get it up there somewhere. So then I'll get up on the boat, I reach over and grab it, and then I can pull it over the whole boat. But the first thing I have to do is get the top off, and the top is nice and cold, so I'd be very careful I don't wreck the isinglass. So I'm going to take that off, get that in the house and get it warmed up before I clean it and roll it up. I already did the strapping for the bottom part of the boat, and the way I did that is every couple of stanchions, or you know, 3 or 4 on each side, I just run a strap from a stanchion down, just let it kind of hang, and then I put a belly strap on. This is a belly strap, and what that does is when the shrink wrap comes down, it curls underneath that, and then I weld it together with heat, and that keeps it down. So these straps keep the belly strap from going down, you know, falling down. And then once I get the top welded up, I take more straps and I just poke a little hole in there, tie it off, and go underneath the boat and up to the other side and tie it off, and then tighten that down. So now it pulls the canvas, or pulls the shrink wrap down, and that keeps it from going up. And then I can go ahead and just shrink the whole boat. But first things first, canvas has got to come off, and then I got to put an upright there, an upright there, and an upright there, and then I run a strap over the top of the whole thing, and then a webbing. And you'll see that as I go. So let me get this ready to go, and I'll pick you up from there. Okay, so here's what I've done so far. I got the canvas off and got the poles back to the arch where they're going to stay, and the antenna still has to come down. I forgot to do it while I was up there. But now I run a strap from the bow all the way down over the arch and down to the stern, right down the center of the boat. And I got it fairly tight, but now what I do is I take a 2x4 right about there. So I'll take a 2x4 and I'll push it up there, and I'll push that strap up a little bit, and then I'll just take a couple of staples and just tack the strap into the top of the 2x4 so it doesn't move while I'm working. And then I'll do another one. I'll take a shorter one and go there and just push that strap up a little bit with the board, put a couple staples in, and then one right here, and it'll probably be up around this height. Put some staples in it. That'll make that strap nice and tight, and then those boards won't be able to go forward and backward because of the staples. And then what I do is, well, I'll show you that in a second after Alright, well, there's my spider web. I got 3 boards. Let's see. One right there, one right there, and one right there. On the floor, or on the deck up here, I got a 2x4 running, I don't know, 3 feet front to back, and then another one there. So those are dispersing the weight instead of just, you know, on the point of the board on the deck, so that's good. And then as you see, I just diagonally went over each of the boards down to the stanchions, and that creates that webbing effect. And I just put a staple or 2 in the top just to keep them from moving around, and they're not going anywhere. You can push and pull them. They don't go side to side or front or back. So the next thing I'm going to do is go inside and grab a couple of old t-shirts or sweatshirts or whatever I have laying around, and I wad it up and put it at the top of each one of these boards, and just tape it on there with shrink wrap tape. And after that, the hard part, getting the shrink wrap up and over and down. It's alright. Just put a bunch of old t-shirts or sweatshirts or whatever on top of those, and that'll keep the corners of the wood from poking through the shrink wrap. And now it's time. So let me get prepared, and I might set you up here. So hang on.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Okay, well, that was a nightmare doing it by yourself, but okay, so I'm good. I got about 6 inches of canvas, or 8 inches of canvas, or shrink wrap, down below the belly strap. Same on other side. So the only scrap I'm gonna have is I'm gonna cut a bunch off this bow to make it fit better. And I left the back really long because when the shrink wrap gets stored over the winter, a bunch of crap gets piled on it, and I'm sure the first wrap or so got some slices in it, so I like to cut that off. Whew, I'm out of breath. So what I'm gonna do now is go get the torch and the propane and some heavy gloves, and I'll show you how to get this thing welded on and start shrinking. So give me a minute, I'll be right back. All right, so here's the rig that I got. I got the shrink fast gun and propane with a regulator, and I set the regulator at 15 pounds, right? And then when this goes off, it just comes down a couple, and this is the way it works. Throws a nice flame out, and we're good to go. So let me get some gloves. I can't find my leather ones, so I gotta run up to the store anyways because I'm almost out of fuel, almost out of gas. So I'm just gonna weld this corner and maybe a couple corners just to hold it on here while I go to the store. So I'll show you that real quick. You know, so if the belly strap was real loose, it would just fall out. It is pretty loose right now, but I can make it work. And then all you do to weld this, get it tucked under pretty good. Does is it sticks to itself, right? So that strap is there and that holds it. So now like I said, later I'll poke a hole here and run a strap down below, and that'll keep it down. But for now I'm just going to do this in a bunch of spots, and then I got to go get gas and probably plug the camera in because I'm almost out of battery. Yeah, so let me just do a little bit and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I got a little carried away. I had a little bit more propane than I thought. So I just went around the whole boat and just tucked it all up on under and welded it. So I got to tuck the bow a little bit better, because can't have all that stuff just hanging there. It's all going to get folded on itself and welded. And then this side's done too. So now I'm out of gas, and I got to go run up to the store and grab some. And I'm burning my hands, so I got to get gloves. Alright, I got it pretty much laying the way I want it to. I got it folded around the corners and one big fold in the center. And now I got to go cut off the excess and all that stuff that's hanging down. Some of it's all nicked up. So I want to cut that out of there and give myself something to tuck in there. And yeah, we'll go from there. So check it out. All right. Now that's all tucked in, I gotta weld it. So we get this mess cleaned up and I'll get you in closer and show you that. I'm a lefty, I gotta go righty. That hole was a nick, and then when you touch it with the heat, it grows. But it's okay because when I finish this whole process and everything cools off, it gets nice and tight. I run the shrink wrap tape down all these seams so it'll cover that hole. But just kind of wanted to show you that all you do is you just kind of stick the heat in the fold, inside the fold, and then you just kind of warm it up, and then it falls on itself. You just slap it against itself, and it welds shut. So that's the way I do that. I have one on either corner, and then I think one on each side of the bow. So let me get the belly straps done, and I'll get back to you. All right, the way I like to do it is start at the bow and work my way back, and I can only reach to the rub rail by my hand, so I do that down all the way around the boat, and then I got to get something else to get above that, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So I'm just gonna rock and roll on this real quick. get the picture. I'm gonna go finish all the way around and then I'll get the next tool. All right, here's the second tool that I'm gonna use. 6-foot extension. The way that it works, just pull off the nozzle, or the end, put on the extension. Just snaps in like that, and then you put the nozzle back on. I like to run mine this way. You could run it this way. I like to run it this way. And the way this works is get some gas going, fill up the hose. There you go. And it sounds like a didgeridoo when you shut it off. Look it up, didgeridoo. So I'm gonna start at the bow of the boat here. All I'm gonna do is go from the bow up to the handrail as far as I can reach, and then I'm gonna get the third and final tool that I use to get the rest of the boat. So I will just get you as far as I can here and then finish off the boat. All right, well, there she is. I shrunk all the way from the the handrail all the way down, all the way around the boat, and even the top is nice and tight, but I still need to get heat on it because it will shrink it up even tighter. And if you see these wrinkles, see those guys? Well, when you shrink up to an area and then you leave it for a minute and come back and it's cooled down, and then you start from there and continue on, you're gonna get wrinkles. And the main thing you gotta understand is don't chase the wrinkles. Don't go back and start going over those wrinkles again, because what happens is the shrink wrap is already thin in that area because it's already been shrunk, and you're gonna burn through. So once you get the whole thing shrink wrapped or tightened up all the way around, a lot of these wrinkles will disappear, and whatever stays there, it's not a big deal. They're not going to do any damage. It's not loose in that area or anything like that. So we're good to go. Like I said, all these seams, I run a nice big 4-inch wide piece of shrink wrap tape down them, and that secures them from trying to come apart over the winter. Here I could probably get in there a little bit better with the heat, but I'll probably just do that with the tape. And this side is nice. You know, I did this by hand up to here, and then with the wand up there, so I'm going to have this wrinkle along here. But like I said, these will actually tighten up as this cools down even more, and as I shrink or hit the top with heat. So this is all good. If you recall, I was saying earlier, it's really cold out today, so my deck had a lot of frost and stuff on it. So I need to poke a couple holes in areas and put in vents. And I just do that with an existing scrap of shrink wrap. I'll just tape off a triangle and kind of tape it on that little area there, and then go underneath it and cut a hole, and that allows it to breathe. But yeah, we're good. Everything is good. I am going to get the third tool, and then we'll get after the top here. So let me go get that, and I'll be right back. Third tool. If you don't have a ladder, get a bobcat. From any of you safety Sallys out there, my house, my bobcat, doing what I want. If I fall, I fall. Make for a good video. So let me just move this up, catch the rest of it. Picture. Gonna go around the boat and do it just like that all the way around. So that's it. Just shrink wrapped. Like I said, I'm gonna put a couple of vents in. I'm not even gonna bore you with that because it's stupid. You can do whatever you want with those. You could actually just poke a couple holes because it's on the flat. No rain gets in anyways, but I just put a little flap over it with a piece of tape to keep the rain out of it or anything like that. But that's it. So thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe. Have a great day.